Song Yunxiang enters the center of the secret realm. Using the formation chain, Song captured the Guardian on the spot. The sudden turn of events makes the Guardian somewhat difficult to accept. This is impossible. Who are you exactly? Why aren't you controlled by the secret realm formation? Upon hearing this, Song smiles away. I found a loophole in this illusionary realm. I want to infiltrate this world constructed by the formation program. It's a very simple matter. After hearing this, the Guardian's face changes drastically. What? You are actually a formation grandmaster. That doesn't make sense. Even if you're a formation grandmaster, you shouldn't have this kind of ability. Who exactly are you? But Song didn't answer the question. He then asked the Guardian to hand over the control key of the secret realm, or else he will take action against the Guardian. However, the Guardian is not afraid of the threat. The inheritance of the Star Soul General, Bing, is the very foundation of the Zhao Ren clan. This won't be allowed seizing by an outsider. Song sneers away. I never said I wanted to take your Zhao Ren inheritance. Give me control of the secret realm. I will help you choose the next host of Bing for Zhao Ren. This way, we won't waste everybody's time. After listening to Song's words, the Guardian becomes furious. Although I am not a living being, I'm not so easily deceived either. Even if I have to sacrifice my fading soul, I won't let you have your way. Song seems to have anticipated this. He just informed the Guardian for the sake of it, without seeking the Guardian's opinion. Then he decisively takes action against the Guardian, with the assistance of the Star Host system, finding the loophole and forcefully hacking the core program of the formation. It's just an easy effort. With the breaking of the formation runes, the center of the loophole is quickly found. Seeing this, Song throws the Guardian away, and he hurries to the center of the loophole. Is this the center of the loophole? The Star Host system forcefully hacked into the core program of the formation. With that, Song slams into the center of the loophole. Instantly, the secret realm starts to collapse. Seeing this scene, the Guardian is astonished. How is this possible? The secret realm is rapidly collapsing. Song is hacking the formation program that protects the stability of the secret realm. What is going on? Even my own data is being damaged. Master, please stop. I am willing to transfer control to you, but you must promise not to seize Bing's soul jade. However, Song Yunxiang ignores this request, because he can soon control the whole realm. At this moment, the Guardian is anxious. If this continues, not only will the secret realm be lost, even the inheritance of the Zhao Ren clan will be in jeopardy. In desperation, he can only hand over the secret realm and declare Song Yunxiang as the master, only hoping to preserve the inheritance of Bing's trident. Seeing this, Song stops. With a wave of his hand, he releases the formation chain on the Guardian. He wants to see what tricks the Guardian can still play, but at this moment, the Guardian doesn't dare to have any malicious thoughts. He obediently takes out the control core of the secret realm and offers it with both hands. When Song sees the control core, he immediately resolves his Abyss Lord mech. Not for long, Song noticed something unusual. It seems that entering this core area would also reset his appearance to the way he entered the secret realm. It's amazing that even the formation of the secret realm can be deceived by appearance reflected by thought. When Song looked at the core jade again, without hesitation, he flashed into the palm of the Guardian's hand. After obtaining the jade core, he jumped down directly. Looking at the jade core in his hand, he felt a sense of familiarity. It seems like he has seen it somewhere before. Soon he thought of the box his mother left for him. There is something in it that looks almost identical to the jade core. Is this the controlling jade core of this secret realm? Upon hearing this, the Guardian immediately confirmed it. However, his huge body made it quite difficult for Song to communicate with him, so Song asked if the Guardian could shrink himself. To Song's surprise, the reply was negative, but if Song takes control of the realm, he should be able to adjust the Guardian's size. Just provide divine consciousness into the jade core. After learning this, Song closed his eyes and began to infuse divine consciousness into the jade. In no time, the jade core is now completely under his control. So, it turns out that this secret realm is a unique space, creating a small world within. It is almost too easy to control the entire secret realm. This makes Song find it somewhat unbelievable, but the Guardian can truly sense it. He has become the ruler of this world. Seeing this, Song immediately repaired the loophole in the space. With the flow of countless blocks within the space, the secret realm was repaired in an instant. Then he gave the command for the Guardian to shrink, but immediately he had an interesting idea, which was to turn the Guardian into a woman. With the command given, the Guardian began to transform. Soon the Guardian transformed into a young girl. When he saw himself transformed into a woman, he was suddenly startled and screamed in fear. But Song doesn't seem satisfied. The guardian could only plead in panic. Seeing this, Song abandoned his thought to tease him and felt that the guardian seemed genuinely submissive. Reminded of other people that also trapped in this illusion world, Song start checking. When he saw Huang Miaoying, a saint-ranked master, the Star Soul Mech, it was that saint-ranked woman. Song immediately making his way to see her. At the same time, in a certain part of the illusionary world, accompanied by a strong thunderbolt, numerous ferocious beasts were instantly killed. The person who struck the beasts was Huang Miaoyin, driving the Soul Star Lord Wenzhong. Her father's voice suddenly came from afar. Seeing this, Huang Miaoyin immediately resolved the Star Soul Mech Wenzhong, and what appeared was her younger self. When I first arrived in this illusionary realm, at that time, Miao Ying had just finished battling the ferocious beast. However, her father was scolding her for assembling the Star Soul Mech without asking, and instructed her not to encounter the ferocious beast in the future. I was quite curious. When I witnessed this scene, I was surprised that her illusion existed during her childhood. How did this woman grow up to become one of the 4 holy guardians of Shishui Kingdom? With this question in mind, I checked the secret realm system for answers. The result of my investigation was somewhat shocking because according to the system, this illusion has already repeated 13 times. How could a powerful saint-level general be trapped by their illusion for so long? However, I soon realized a possibility. With her strength, there is no illusion that she couldn't overcome. She simply doesn't want to wake up yet. Since that's the case, I don't need to use my administrative privileges to forcefully break the illusion. Maybe I can dig up some more exciting clues later. So, I followed the footsteps of the father and daughter and arrived at a place filled with cherry trees. In the middle of the cherry tree forest, there was a quiet mountain grave. As I approached to take a closer look, I learned that this grave belonged to Huang Miaoying's mother, Huang Yizu. Just as I finished observing, the father and daughter coincidentally arrived at the same place, carrying some offerings in their hands. However, it was strange that Huang Miaoying's father immediately closed the gate after entering the formation. At the same time, Miaoying, who witnessed this scene, asked her father when he could teach her about formations. Upon hearing his daughter's question, her father gently touched her forehead and asked why she suddenly wanted to learn about formations. Miaoying replied that if she learned formations, she wouldn't have to wait for the cherry tree to bloom every year for visiting her mother. She could come anytime she missed her mother. Hearing his daughter's words, her father showed a somewhat troubled expression, but quickly regained his composure. While they were performing the ritual, I wasn't just sitting there. I witnessed everything that happened, and then I recalled the formation that was set up with sealing techniques. If I remember correctly, I encountered something similar in the Imperial Tomb of a secret realm in my last life. Based on that, I speculated that the man before me might be the legendary mysterious formation master. Who was responsible for sealing the Imperial Tomb? I speculated that the person eventually exhausted their own vitality to suppress the Imperial Tomb of secret realm. Rumor has it that the sealed Star Soul Mech inside the tomb contains an immensely powerful and terrifying soul. Once it finds a master, the entire continent will be engulfed in endless war. To prevent such a situation, the Guardians of the Tomb have shouldered this mission for hundreds of years. Based on the current time in the illusion, the man before me is likely the person I encountered in my last life. I hope it's not just a coincidence. Meanwhile, after completing the basic ritual, he has asked Miao Ying to give him some moment alone with his wife. After his daughter walked away, he sat quietly on the ground and took out a letter from his pocket that filled with words. After softly reading the contents of the letter in front of his wife's grave, he burned it as an offering. While it was burning, he kept saying how he had missed her every moment in these years. This deeply moving scene touched my heart. This just an illusionary world. My actions here are merely for gathering information. Shouldn't considered eavesdropping at all? So, I turned around and took out half a watermelon. While collecting information, I enjoyed eating my watermelon. Meanwhile, on the other side of the cherry forest, Miao Ying, who was sent away by her father wandering around, and encountered a huge wild boar. Normally, a little girl would be afraid in such a situation, but this mischievous girl had 100 ways to cook a wild boar on her mind. So, she jumped out fearlessly. This scene startled the wild boar on the other hand. I guess the boar had never imagined that it would be taken down by such a little child. While she was hunting the wild boar, I had almost gathered all the required information. It turns out that the descendants of the Tomb Guardians have 10 years of freedom to marry and have a family. The person before me, Sukong Jing, is the young successor of the current generation. The turning point of the story happened when he traveled to the capital of Shishui Kingdom. At the poetry gathering on the Luo Bridge, he and Miao Ying's mother, Huang Yuzu, fell in love at first sight. Soon after, they made a lifelong commitment under a cherry tree. Sukong Jing even gave up his duty as a tomb guardian and decided to spend his life with Huang Yuzu. But their happiness didn't last long. After a period of peaceful days, they were soon discovered by the Huang family and hunted down. When they fled to the Shikong Mountains, Huang Yuzi suffered severe injuries, leading to premature childbirth. After giving birth to Miao Ying, she passed away. Later, Sukong Jing set up the sealing tomb formation nearby, and hidden away with Huang Miao Ying. They have my condolence as an audience for this storytelling illusion. Was the Huang family of Shishui Kingdom such a despicable presence so many years ago? After digesting all the information, Miao Ying also returned with her trophy. Based on the current development, I can't see any problems that would require Miao Ying to go through 13 illusionary cycles. So, I decided to go back home with them, and see for myself. After they returned home through the sealing tomb formation, I discovered a maid standing in their courtyard, bound with handcuffs and shackles. Strangely, when Miao Ying saw her, she affectionately called her Chuan Xiang. It was surprising to see such high magic level of restraints on her hands and feet. I wonder what she did to be treated like this. As I carefully recalled her name, a person I was extremely wary of in my previous life suddenly came to mind. If it's really her, then I now know the reason why Miao Ying want to stay in this illusionary world after 13 cycles. I don't have deep hatred of this woman in my past life, but she was a very troublesome enemy. After the fall of the Tiandu Kingdom, I was seriously injured and exiled to the Shishui Kingdom. When I was slightly recovered from my injuries, I disregarded the Empress of Shishi's dissuasion, insisted heading back and fight for Tiandu Kingdom. But on my way back to the Tiandu Kingdom, I was obstructed by this old lady. Although I obtained the Star Host system in the Imperial Tomb of Secret Realm at that time, I couldn't fix my weakened combat power due to the incomplete soul vein, so my enemy engaged me with the soul chain. No doubt that I ran out of soul power in the battle, and forcibly released the Star Soul Assembly from my mech. As I have not fully recovered from my injuries, hence I had no advantage or chance of winning this battle. After being forcefully released from the Star Soul Assembly, this old lady brought her Shadow Lens division to confront me, and she arrogantly demanded that I surrender. I was greatly angered by her attitude, and I retorted, saying that the Empress of Shishui had already agreed to my request to leave. So what reason did their Shadow Lens division have to attack and besiege me? Were they planning to rebel against the will of Empress? But the old lady cunningly stated that she would arrest me on charges of stealing important military information from Shishui Kingdom. She did all of this to defend the country of Shishui. Of course, I didn't believe a word she said. In reality, she just wanted to seize the Star Host system from me. Fortunately, at this critical moment, a fleet under the command of the Empress of Shishui appeared on the river. The commander opened the broadcast on the ship, and declared that they had the imperial decree from the Empress, which was a decree for me. Upon seeing the appearance of the ship, the old lady immediately realized that Her Majesty must have made up her mind to protect me. While she was contemplating the situation, the envoy of the Empress continued speaking, and stated that the Shadow Lens division should cease any action and release the Star Soul mech. Seeing this, Tong Ju Xiang, the old lady, as the chief of the Shadow Lens division, raised her hand and stopped her subordinates from taking further action, because she knew it is not the right time to go against the Empress. During the time we waited for the envoy coming ashore, neither side engaged for conflict. The imperial decree sent by the Empress also indicated her intention to protect me, and she said that my contribution in saving her justified my appointment as the Marquis of Nanyue. She even asked me to enter the harem and wait for further summons that same day. I was surprised of what I heard. I couldn't understand what the Empress was thinking, because the title of Marquis was the highest status among the male consorts in the harem. Based on what I later learned, the old lady actually hoped to take me away for interrogation. The abilities of the Star Host system were too similar to what she knew about Master of Tai Yuan, and she wanted to obtain my Star Host system, whatever it takes. So when I was ready to leave with the envoy, the old lady couldn't resist anymore, and ordered her subordinates to use force to threaten us to stop. Fortunately, the envoy who came was not someone to be trifled with. She immediately questioned whether the Shadow Lens division was defying the decree, and if they were planning for rebellion. The old lady had no choice but to humbly say that there were many questions on me remained unanswered, so I couldn't be allowed to leave. The envoy replied that if she had evidence, she could directly return to the capital and present it to the Empress. If the evidence was sufficient, the Empress would handle it accordingly. After saying these words, she added that the personal guards of the Empress had come to summon me to the palace, and the Shadow Lens division didn't have the authority to obstruct. After thoroughly intimidating the old lady, the envoy instructed me to board the ship with peace of mind. promising that no one could stay in my way anymore. At that moment, it felt really satisfying to have someone backing me up, so I turned around and wished the old hag a long and healthy life, jokingly reminding her that she was already over 100 years old, and she should take care of herself. Perhaps it was my words that angered her, and later that I know she was the culprit for losing the Shishui Kingdom's 400 years of heritage. Even the previous empress of Shishui probably didn't expect that. The Shadow Lens division, established by the old hag from slaves appointed by her, ended up being the cause of the downfall of the Shishui Kingdom. So now, being trapped in this illusion, curiosity driven me, because I didn't expect this old hag to be the servant of the Star Soul General Wenzong's family, which must be the reason why this illusion has gone on 13 times. But based on the current development of the plot, I still yet find any clues. The relationship between Huang Miao Ying and Tong Ju Xiang seems pretty good, but the next moment, I noticed something strange. Tong Ju Xiang, her face actually went blushed when she saw Sakong Jing, and her every move was like the hostess of the house. During dinner time, they were laughing and joking, like a normal family would do. Seeing this, I used my administrative authority in the illusion realm, fast forward the time, and jumped straight to the evening. But then I noticed Sakong Jing was reading a book about ceiling formations, and I also saw information about the elemental's reversal ceiling tomb formation in the book, because the formation technique was similar to the formation that banished the war god patriarch. So I planned to secretly learn this formation technique, but while I was memorizing the information, Tong Ju Xiang unexpectedly came behind the door, and just when I thought she was also here to learn the formation, she boldly pushed the door open, and she dressed quite revealing tonight, and after seeing the shocked expression on Sakong Jing's face, she became even more proactive. Her flirtatious expression made it clear that she wanted Sakong Jing to make mistake tonight, but Sakong Jing didn't disappoint me. He refused her temptation, but if he were truly so resolute, this illusion wouldn't have repeated 13 times. So after Sakong Jing refused, Tong Ju Xiang intensified her seduction efforts, and from her expression, I could tell she wasn't doing it out of love. She was doing all this to achieve a certain purpose. Otherwise, she wouldn't have become the chief of the Shadow Lens division later on. After all, Sakong Jing couldn't resist the intense seduction from her. It's true what they say, heroes have always been vulnerable to the charms of beauty. If a woman came into your room in the middle of the night, what would you choose to do? Faced with such a dilemma, Sakong Jing, who had been a widower for many years, after Huang Miao Ying's mother's passing, was momentarily in shock. Fortunately, he managed to regain his composure, and began assembling weapons in his hands. He was well aware of the principle that offering help without reason usually led to treachery. Her action that delivering herself to Sakong Jing remained questionable. It was strange that Tong Ju Xiang did not show a startled reaction. After failing to receive further response from Sakong Jing, she bursted into tears and picked up her clothes, leaving heartbrokenly. I couldn't understand whether her actions were genuine or deceptive, but this scene made my day. I never thought that the old hatchet woman had such embarrassing moment in her past. I will definitely bring this up next time encountering her. After concluding this little incident, I decided to accelerate the progress of the illusion. Over the next 2 years, they remained as usual. Sakong Jing and Tong Ju Xiang did not encounter any more trouble, but there is a saying that a child's thoughts are actually quite perceptive. Since that night, Huang Miao Ying often sat alone, lost in thought, until one day, the story finally became interesting again. This day, as the father, Sakong Jing decided to teach his daughter the guardian lineage's formation techniques. Huang Miao Ying was extremely excited upon hearing that her father would finally teach her formations, as learning them would allow her to visit her mother whenever she wanted. After reaching an agreement, Sakong Jing began his teaching time. According to his own account, the Tomb Guardian lineage's inheritance can be traced back to 2 eras ago, and the ceiling formation technique is different from ordinary formations, making it extremely difficult to learn. This piqued my interest. If I were to learn the ceiling formation technique, I would be able to explore areas of the geomantic tomb that were previously inaccessible. So, for the following period of time, I studied the knowledge of the ceiling formation technique along with Huang Miao Ying. After 2 months of practice in the illusion, Huang Miao Ying finally grasped some of the techniques. However, every time she deployed a formation, it would be crooked and distorted. Such a level of formation was embarrassing to show to others. So, when Sakong Jing saw his daughter's progress, he furrowed his brow. If she couldn't accept the inheritance, it was likely that there would be no successor to the Tomb Guardian lineage. I shared the same thoughts. After observing for so long, I had also learned the technique. I was surprised to find that the ceiling formation technique had similarities with the 5 elements formation that suppressed the battle patriarch. With this understanding, my chances of forcefully breaking the 5 elements formation, which previously stood the chance at 60 to 70%, now could reach 120%, allowing me to perfectly break the formation. I could even seal a higher level formation after breaking it, and set an unlock password for future access. After secretly learning the sealing technique, I turned my attention to the progress of the others. Their mentality seemed too immature. Until now, no one had been able to actively break the illusion. Lan Kun, the predetermined inheritor from the previous life, still reveled night after night. This prince of Jiao Ren wasn't taking it seriously at all. As for Hu Yanxing, he was still in his youth time. However, I was curious whether the person by his side was the inheritor of the Hu Yan family. Meanwhile, Hu Yanxing's bodyguard, Hu Yanfa, I didn't expect that despite his usual appearance of a monk, he would still yearn for his wife deep in his heart. And that traitor, Wang Shu, was quite intriguing. He seemed to be very close to the previous inheritor of Abing Mek. But why did he choose the path of betraying the Murphic clan? As I was about to leave, I had an additional discovery. Apart from the people who had entered earlier, there was now another snowman illusion here. Moreover, the content of this illusion was very strange. There was only a snowman sleeping inside, sleeping for over 100 years at a time. Meanwhile, 2 more months passed in the current illusion. Huang Miaoying, who had made some progress in the sealing formations, continued her training. However, this time, her training partner was Tong Juxiang. With Huang Miaoying's assistance, the formation shackles that had bound Tong Juxiang's hands and feet were finally undone. Tong Juxiang was also somewhat surprised after suddenly regaining her freedom. Although she was grateful to Huang Miaoying for giving her freedom, she was still afraid of being punished by Sekong Jing when he returned. Seeing this, Huang Miaoying decisively opened the outer seal formations as well. After completing all this, she appeared a bit exhausted but told Tong Juxiang to leave quickly. She had done all this to return freedom to Tong Juxiang on behalf of her father. For many years, she had known that her father imprisoned Tong Juxiang. So, after inheriting the sealing formation technique, she returned Tong Juxiang's freedom. After learning about her genuine intentions, Tong Juxiang didn't hesitate and quickly fled from the place that had imprisoned her for many years. However, on one side, it was Huang Miaoying struggling keeping the formation opened, and on the other side was Tong Juxiang running away with a sly smile. Unfortunately, I didn't notice any of this because I was still focused on studying the snowman illusion. By the time I realized something was wrong here, it was too late. Huang Miaoying with troubled expression was remained at the scenes. Thankfully, I had Secret Realm Administrator privilege. As long as I have enough melons, there is no puzzle I cannot solve.